right, everybody, welcome back to the Basement Blokes podcast with me, Andrew Vanderhelm, this guy,
Kevin.
I'm
this
Kevin
guy.
too.
If that's not confusing
That's all,
enough,
folks.
welcome back to the show where we're finally gonna find our stride.
Yeah.
You gotta run before you can walk sometimes.
Exactly. Welcome back to the show with me, Andrew Vanderhelm, Kevin McCaslin, and Kevin Graham, where we talk about stuff and try to make things more structured because we're all over the place. But yeah, so how you guys doing?
I can't complain. Today's for once not like 87 and like pushing. So that was pretty nice.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I've been inside all day.
All day.
And it's
All day.
Me and Kev have been chilling inside all day.
This man had AC, so I was like, I'm not gonna leave your house.
Yeah.
Perfect sunny day to just look at outside.
I haven't even seen the sun. I didn't know it was sunny today.
It feels pretty good to just let it. I don't know.
Even
Just
took a little nap.
hang out inside and just.
We had
chilling.
two Madden games that were entirely different games.
Yeah, dude. The first game we were back and forth like.
I won the game in the last 16 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was one of those games.
Yeah.
Second game, I wasn't fucking around anymore.
Let's
I'm
just say
just
Matt
upset.
Stafford decided to be Matt Stafford.
Yeah, just throwing picks. I swear the NPCs had it out for him or something.
Well, like, I had single coverage on Kelvin Johnson a lot, and so I would just lob it up.
Well, that's
And this 5'8" cornerback kept taking it from Kelvin Johnson.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay,
I blew his ass out like 40 to.
it was 40 something at the 10. It was 10-10, and I was like kind of winning, but I had like a fumble or something, and he got a. So it was.
Who are you?
So I was the Lions. He was Houston, and I was doing
Okay.
in
Texans.
2016. So
This is
Kelvin
old
Johnson,
we were playing
everybody.
on
I
a
Blokes
don't
tapes.
even remember what 2016.
Joyce
Yeah.
Bell,
Yeah.
Theo Riddick,
J.J. Watt was still there.
J.J. Watt was still there, Hopkins,
Mhm.
Ryan Mallett was the.
Man,
He played
good-
like 2 games there.
Good for you. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Ryan Mallett.
And just Stafford just did very Stafford.
Well,
pick
and
after
also-
pick after pick, really.
And I mean, with Madden, like you tweak like the difficulty by like 1. The
Yeah.
cornerbacks are suddenly like watching you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
It becomes a VR game where they're watching whatever the shit you're doing, and then it's like, oh, watch this. Like you do curls. Oh, as it turns out, they're running like a command defense, so you're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
They called them audibles.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. But
So speaking of these sports,
Yeah,
what do we think
Oh, yeah.
of all these
them
all-
trying to return
all
to
these weird
sports.
feeble attempts where it's just like, bro, if we have to do all this,
yeah,
this just feels like weird. Like we're trying to cling to the remnants of old
new
society.
sports stuff.
We're getting too desperate for like I need entertainment.
I need distraction.
I need.
Y'all got any more of them sports?
I was like, bro, you watched like maybe 2 of the shows on your watch list, and you're like
True.
fiending. You're like Dave Chappelle, Tyrone Bigum's itch in the neck.
Get these
It's like,
these
so I
kids
gotta
start
do
talking
more
about
than-
social justice. Fuck.
Wear them.
We need
sports
more touchdowns.
People are tired of politics,
Yeah.
but here we are.
I feel like also the national anthem should be put on hold for all these forced sports events because
Yeah.
clearly we didn't fix anything.
Not a damn thing.
So why
But
should?
no, we just play a black anthem. That the NFL's. What do you think about the black anthem the NFL is choosing to do?
Black Anthem. I don't know about this. What is this?
Do we know? Is this a real
So
thing?
the NFL, I've seen on social media that NFL is going to, and it was from news services, Sports Center, and other things, that they were going to, along with the national anthem, they're going to play. There's another song, but it's basically never heard of it until today. Like, I mean not today, but like recently, but it was like it's considered the black national anthem, which is
I don't know what that means.
yeah.
What's I don't know that. What's the Black National Anthem?
I was
Oh, yeah.
let's,
Oh, yeah, damn.
Let's
That's my
Google-
job.
I've never heard it, but it's like the NFL said that's what they're gonna do, not give Kaepernick his job back or apologize or admit to any of their.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't Roger Goodell like offer an apology, but it was after the fact and after
Well,
people
it was
pressured him?
after there
and
was
still
like,
won't admit to conspiring against him.
well, 'cause it was like after they openly were like, yes, you did get prejudice.
Lift Every Voice and Sing is the
essentially.
name of this song.
Lift every voice and sing. Well,
Lift
I
every-
like that.
But isn't it a little slap in the face when black people are like, please stop killing us and don't worry, we got your song
Yeah.
on cue.
they're playing. You're saying they're playing both.
They're playing both.
So
Like almost like the Canadian national anthem at like a Canadian, like a Toronto Raptors game.
that'll bring us together nicely.
Yeah, that sounds like just being like,
That
so
sounds like a good thing. All right.
let's split you guys into two groups.
All right, white-
You guys have your national anthem.
Seems like segregation with extra steps.
Listen,
sounds-
guys, listen,
that
they're
sounds so
separate
silly.
but equal.
That sounds so silly.
It sounds
silly.
counterintuitive.
Just play a song and start the damn game. Play Jason Derulo for all I give a shit.
Oh, they do.
Play like a short
Give them
replay
social
by
justice.
Eoz. Play Shorty's like a melody for 10 minutes, and then just start the fucking.
You know,
game.
we need when Marshawn Lynch was in Oakland and just I'm really from Oakland. He was his vibe about it.
Oh yeah, just I don't know what. It's this whole shit where it's like, what are you guys?
We're gonna
Sorry,
change
I
the name of the
struck you.
street,
What?
and we're gonna paint this on your street.
Yeah. It's like, listen.
What about
we
the
know-
actual murderers?
We heard what you were requesting. You were requesting justice, and we listened. Like
You get a song.
instead of division, it's gonna be Brianna. Like no part of that was what anyone requested.
They have a law in her name, and her killers are walking.
Bro, you can't do that. You can't be like, well, no. See, they set the law. They were like they were good motivators. It's like no, arrest them, make it like hey.
Lock them the fuck up.
But no. You guys are right. This should not be allowed to happen. Which is why, starting now, we are going to make laws that make that illegal.
But doesn't this just go right along with the same sentiment of, did you hear their other funny rule of, after 60 minutes of heavy contact, you weren't allowed to swap your jerseys afterwards, because that'll save you from the Rona.
You aren't.
NFL
You
forbade.
aren't allowed to?
NFL forbade jersey swaps at the end of the game because it's due to Corona.
Oh, like
Swapping
like
with-
when they give
When they
someone
give jerseys
gives
in the
someone-
game, yep.
Oh, sure.
They forbade that.
That
Well, they give it
makes
to-
a little
But
sense.
but
Their-
after
their
60
players?
minutes of hitting each other,
Well, no.
Well, yeah, but they don't want to give it to the crowd.
no, like jersey swaps between players.
Oh.
Is the crowd even gonna be there?
No.
Oh
they
yeah,
won't.
that's.
I
I,
mean,
guess
probably
that's true.
not.
So it's like, yeah,
I
it's
don't
like-
know.
No,
What-
jersey
what-
swaps. So the tradition of recent, and I think it started in Europe with soccer players, but like,
Yeah.
Players meet
Soccer
up.
players usually did it. Yeah.
yep, people meet up and they, wow, I want your jersey, you know.
It's like
And they'll
I've
swap
got
jerseys.
endless
Yeah.
amounts, so
Yeah.
sure.
And so they swap jerseys, and NFL said they can't do that due to Corona.
Oh.
You did it.
But you can beat the fuck
Rona.
out of each other and give each other, brain damage and CTE.
That sounds like more like something that they're just saying, so it sounds like they're doing something.
Well, again,
but it's like, what are you gonna?
Because look at WWE, because WWE beat all these other like different like kind of physical entertainment, I'll call it, because WWE isn't technically a sport. Well, yeah, because it's
performance
because
art.
it's pre-scripted, so
Yeah.
it's but like WWE was just deemed essential, so
Was it really?
it was like the second
Another sports art?
the second they were going to shut it down, the WWE people in charge made it approved in Florida as an essential business.
Oh, Florida.
That sounds Florida.
Well, it's very
Ohio,
Florida.
the South.
It's like it's like
Listen, we
Hank-
need them.
Hank
we
and
need those
Paulie,
shows.
like fighting in their backyard. It's like, listen, what they're doing is a service. It's a service to the people in this here community.
I don't think that's what Floridians sound like.
They sound like old timey, like southern. See, Florida's south, but it's not that south. Like,
Yeah.
it has the drug problems of like in LA.
Yeah.
But
Do you guys think that once the NFL, because what do we have? Does the NFL start next month then?
like training camp would start in August. Yeah.
So do you think they're gonna be? So the first game.
Well, actually, no. Preseason would be August.
When's the first preseason game?
In August. I don't know when.
In August?
But like in past years, it was always in August.
Yeah. So do you think there's gonna be any sort of crowd there?
I feel like there can't be.
But I would not be surprised if the NFL somehow
They
had some
found a
sort of
way.
fans
Yeah, sure.
there.
Yeah, where it's like, oh, you're They set up like a bunch of barriers.
August 6th. So 3 weeks from now.
You know,
Yeah.
if the
We're in the
schools
middle
won't
of
let
a
the kids go
second
back,
wave.
we'll let the kids come here. Y'all can come
God.
here.
Oh my god, yeah. We're
Parents, you can send your kids to the games.
It's so American of us to be like, all right, our job is done, but you didn't do anything. Get the fuck back to work.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you guys haven't done anything. You guys haven't added anything. It's like, well, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Let's get back to it.
They're gonna like say that it's 50%, but then they're gonna have a sky cam and be like, every seat's filled. What the fuck are they talking about?
It's just a bunch of cutouts. It's like, fuck, drone coverage at these events are outlawed because you're gonna see 2D people. And it's gonna be, wait a minute, I see 12 of that guy.
There's just you just see the sign just.
Just a rogue wind. Just not. No,
Billy!
But
ooh, they are not being friendly to this Kansas City Chiefs crowd.
did you hear they're finally changed? I think they're finally changing the Chiefs and the Redskins.
Are they changing the
no,
Chiefs?
just Redskins,
I
just
was saying,
Redskins.
Just the Redskins, not the Chiefs.
I thought of the like. There's a I forget if it's the Onion or Clickhole where they have a tagline. It's like the Washington Redskins have listened. They're changing the they're now going to be the DC Redskins.
Jeez.
That's
So
just
they're not
all it
really
makes-
from Washington.
That's all it makes me think. It was like, listen, guys, we know it's a little outdated.
We've been hearing.
We
had a lot of
we have
meetings.
listened.
That's funny, but I think I heard that because
Well, because there's still like the Cleveland Indians, which is
Yeah.
which is also a caricature.
With Chief Wahoo that
a
just
red
got taken out.
A red caricature.
what the Cleveland
They got rid of
Baseball,
Chief
that's
Wahoo,
right.
the
Yeah,
logo
'cause that
recently.
one's baseball, but that's another one where it's like the same level of racism that we've really
Same
it's
energy.
even more on the nose.
we hung on to. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Like straight up those what's the name of those characters with the in the early 20s, like the really racist ones that Disney would sometimes use with the big old lips. What's
No
like
idea.
the Mammy cartoons?
yeah, maybe.
But
yeah,
like
I
that's
know
it's
what
the
you're talking
same
about.
energy. Was that Chief Wahoo? It looked just like one of
Well,
those characters.
it looked like those old school, like the animation where it's like, oh, you guys really didn't
like
you
in
guys didn't
Peter Pan.
like you guys were not concerned about whether anyone that wasn't white would watch these.
Oh, Peter Pan, the old one. Like great movie, but you see the
Oh, well, again, like Dumbo has
Lost Boys.
literal Jim Crows.
yeah.
So, and they talk
Yeah.
like, I sure ain't seen your boy no how. And it's like, yeah, oh, that's nice. But again, it was like 19 whatever. It was like, so that was
so
normal.
Normal. That was insane.
Yeah, it was a different.
Which
What do
is-
you guys think about like the sentiment of when people like when you judge history, just like you gotta judge them by their context, but it's like nah, man, like you know in your
It's
essence,
still
like
wrong.
you are owning
Yeah.
human beings. Nah, fuck you. Like
Well, because usually it's every time like you'll ask like actors or something that wore blackface or something. It's like, how did you feel about that? Most of them are like, I really didn't like it. So it's never like, to me it's like, okay, then it was just something where people either thought like, no, it'll be funny, and so they put it in without any thought about minimum this is going to horribly date us. And like, minimum it's like, people may not care in theory, but at worst it's going to be like, oh my god, like it's going to be exactly like what's going on now where they like take episodes off.
Yeah.
Or things like that where it
Pull
features
movies.
blackface. Yeah, or
Yeah.
like pull movies, because I know they took Gone with the Wind just to kind of add like a disclaimer, like, hey, this movie presents outdated.
what do we think about those movies? Like, should we still have them out for consumption with like a disclaimer?
Well, they're gonna be
Or
out.
I say no matter what, put a disclaimer. I don't think you have to remove them.
I feel like it's more dangerous when you start censoring like that.
I think
It leads to a really bad rabbit hole.
add the disclaimer of, hey, listen, this episode or this movie includes things that are very
Not okay.
troublesome and just not acceptable on any wavelength.
But this was out here, so we can learn from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like, are we gonna judge everything by our thing today? But it's like everything was terrible. But at some level, we have to look back and be like, wow, history, unfortunately, the people before us were pretty shitty, and I'm sure we're shitty in some way that we're gonna think of.
We're gonna find out
We're
later.
gonna find out. Yeah. However,
There's
many
there's
decades.
plenty of people that were not, I don't know,
Like
Like-
shit, we're gonna find stuff that was like popular on Vine, TikTok, even like Twitter, where it's like, did we really do that?
Well, I remember like watching like the '70s show just recently, and it's like even then they make like jokes where it's like, oh shit, you can't say that now.
Or like Fez's character he's foreign.
exchange
Yeah.
That's it.
Foreign
Like it's
exchange
not
student.
really anything else, and it's like he has a funny voice.
But it's
Like-
also like that
it's
was
hot,
really
though,
like
so.
what they.
He's hot.
That's
now,
really how
so
Americans
it doesn't
viewed their
matter.
foreign exchange students. That's what sucked. It was like everybody was really living like a sitcom type life.
Yeah.
Well, then you got Hyde, who like
The
Committed,
actor?
like, pedophile?
The
four
actor?
sept rapes.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
So-
Did you hear about this? What was that guy's name?
Is
Danny Masterson?
Yeah,
Because his
Masterson.
brother was. Did you ever watch Malcolm in the Middle?
His brother is Francis.
It's Francis.
Right?
Yeah, Danny Masterson.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was a few people.
Because like he got accused like a little like while ago. Oh yeah, June 2017.
They were, like,
arrested
20
and
years
charged.
ago, right?
Oh, three allegations.
Yeah, but they were from a while ago. It
Yeah, Echo.
took-
Because I remember seeing the headline of how like, oh well, this guy like Hyde from that '70s show and on some Netflix show. He was accused of these.
He was a
crimes,
member of the Church of Scientology.
But for some.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Was
yeah,
he?
yeah, he was.
It just
he
brought
was.
up
I heard
that.
about that too.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
hmm
Man,
The rabbit hole.
They have such a win streak.
Dude, and I think
Church of
Scientology
Scientology.
even like backed him up.
There are a lot of questionable things with
Well,
Scientology.
because like all of a sudden like Scientology is like an entity in our structure.
They own
like,
a
big time.
fuck ton of land.
Well,
and
it's-
They own a fuck
they
ton
have-
of land.
they have
powerful people. there.
Powerful people with powerful lawyers, dude.
They
It's
figured
like,
out how to start a business without having any type of when you start a business you need like something, a service
A
or
substance.
a service or a product.
Well,
They
you-
have neither, and they just made
They-
money.
well,
have-
it's a cult.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Religious
have
cult.
they have a belief system, and when you can make
You monetize a belief system.
powerful, belief system, like a powerful group of people into paying money
Con artists.
to show that you believe in these concepts, you can do whatever you want.
They're full on con artists who exploited like that cult mentality.
Yeah,
Which-
and I think they like with a lot of other religious stuff, it's like some of the stuff that they practice has positive effects, like
Has
in-
substance.
It's almost like a self-improvement thing, or like
Again, yeah, it's-
positive affirmations or stuff like that.
There's
And then-
whenever you join something, it instantly adds structure and purpose to your life, which is in
Yeah.
a deep grain drive that you need.
yeah,
And so that's why it becomes dangerous when someone who sees a vulnerable person who needs said structure and purpose, and then they exploit that individual.
Well, yeah, that's why like you look back at like the Charles Manson stuff about how like
Bro,
yes,
Charles Manson.
technically like the man never killed anyone himself because he created this community of people that were just live or die by his every word because he was that damn good and he took in people that had no homes and gave them a home.
did you
Straight
guys-
up the real life Joker.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
Dude, have you heard anything about him like being tied up with the CIA and stuff?
No.
And he was like tied
like-
up with CIA like mind control experience with LSD and stuff. This dude,
Oh, because I've heard
This
I've
seems
heard
like
it
a
was
real
LSD,
fucking rabbit hole.
like being mind control stuff.
This
Hold
seems like a
on.
Reddit 3 a.m. I can't
Yeah, I was
sleep.
about to say,
Insomnia drive.
I have a slight sleep deprivation headache. Let's read about this.
but this dude was on Rogan, and I got the book, but I haven't listened to all of it yet. I just started it, but I guess there was like his therapist was also like in the CIA or something, like the person you would talk
Yeah,
to,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then he was constantly. Think of it like he's constantly going to jail and getting off for all this different stuff, and it's a very interesting. This dude started off by writing an article about it, and then all of a sudden he gets deeper and deeper.
Then
and
a lot of
like,
people are like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah,
more.
there's it's
okay.
yeah. I should read this and have more on it later, but I really
We'll get back
recommend
to
it.
you on
It's
that.
such a rabbit hole, and it's such an interesting.
I
thing.
think that's it. Like that's why like shows like Mindhunter, why any serial killer stuff like that, we're fascinated by it because in theory they are so different from us.
Oh no, they're not.
Well, no, when it's like, oh shit, like this dude's kind of like me in some way or whatever, and like I think that seems to be the trend. I mean, you'll have like the Mindhunters where it's about like, oh shit, we're not that different, and now I'm very scared for my life. But then you have the ones like where Zac Efron played Ted Bundy, and everyone's talking about how hot Zac Efron is.
Yeah,
Like, man, if Zac Efron was Ted Bundy, a lot of people would be in active problems right now. Or you're essentially proving why Ted Bundy was so successful because it was exactly that. He wasn't a bad looking dude, and that was enough for a lot of people to be like, oh, absolutely. Yeah, like, where are we going? I'd love to go with you. It's like,
well, it goes to like you brought up the point of there wasn't that much difference between like psychopaths and us, but like we get interested in them because we kind of think they're polar opposites. They're very inhuman, and that kind of goes back to my point of remember when I told like we got to humanize these evil people, and it's because you got to find their humanity in the sense of what they are doing versus where the inhuman parts of why they are doing it. So the inhuman, when I talk about the inhuman parts, I mean what are they consuming that their humanity is cycling and then it's ingesting it and then it's coming out and turning it into psychotic trends where it's like you got to see what they're consuming and how their humanity is like processing it and to turn it in. So you got to kind of you got to understand them. So it's a lot.
I think if you talk to anybody that's a psychopath in that sort of way, they could probably, in their own mind, justify anything that they're doing.
Well, so then is Jada Smith a psychopath?
No, I just think
because she's really good at using that victimhood language in order to get herself out of
heavy swings.
An entanglement.
An entanglement. Like so then is that by that logic?
Okay.
Like where she can get herself out of
no,
trouble?
Because there's a difference between like I would say. Which again, I'll plug Mindhunter again because it's excellent. That kind of is what the show goes into because the whole thing is about them interviewing psychopaths to, in theory, or serial killers specifically, to, in theory, prevent future ones. But the point is that a lot of these guys, these successful ones, are expert liars because they will read you. They'll pay attention to what you're saying to them, what kind of questions you ask, and then they can create a person that you're looking for when they're not actually giving them.
It's the sociopathic mindset. They actually say that sociopaths can almost like benefit from having like a therapist or something because they can learn to almost like play the therapist, or it's like they gain almost like insight. I don't know.
It's a really fun aspect, fun aspect of the show is just kind of more from a performance aspect.
So they're like really smart, but they kind of lose their.
A lot of them,
they don't have like any empathy.
A lot of times,
so what is it? What are they lacking?
A lot of times, that
makes them do that. Like, is it empathy?
A support system usually. It really legitimately almost always it seems to boil down to support system and parents or lack of loving parents.
So they weren't raised in a loving environment, so they don't.
More often than not, that's all it takes. Like they got bullied, they received only nastiness, and then in turn they put out nasty back out. Yeah.
That kind of talks a lot about our justice system. Like I worked at a detention home. We had 88. This is not a fake number, false number, a real number of 88% return rate.
Yeah.
And I was there for 4 months.
There's no reforming going on.
There was probably 12 to 16 kids in my time, and I would say 88% of them came back. Another like within those time, and I seen them consistently. Like you would send them. They would come here, and we would punish them. We'd send them back out to the real world, and they come right the fuck back.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's like because
they don't learn how to
rehabilitation isn't the goal
at all.
Yeah.
At all.
Bro, have you you talked to someone that has gotten out of prison? It's like they have a different mindset.
We make them
they're
monsters.
Adjusting back to reality.
We make them monsters.
Like they literally will. I've got someone in the family that's in prison, but he said like he needs like a puzzle or something to just keep his mind busy so he doesn't get in trouble, because they're putting you in a box with other people that are just inflammatory with all their interactions. You got to think the guards are they got to be at 10.
Stressed the whole fucking time.
They're
just ready for anything at any time.
It's basically like come here and become traumatized. It's a trauma center.
It almost sounds like a reality show, but I guess the real without the fakeness, without a producer saying now pour your drink on her to start a fight. It's like, no, literally, that's just the environment. It's literally like
it's just tense.
At any given moment, you could accidentally bump into someone, and then bam, there's a giant riot.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like it feels like going back to the point of a lot of these psychopaths having no support system growing up. So like it's like our justice system is basically punishing people for having shitty lives.
Sure, a lot of people, yeah.
And it's like we gotta turn that around as people. But anyways, so recently I'll just flip 180.
Now that you name dropped Jada.
Yes. But like
Jada Smith.
I remember like end of the last episode, it was kind of like a little bit emotional, burnt out. Just having a lot of serious, heavy topics. But like the past couple of weeks, I've been focusing on being a fun guy a little bit, having fun with my friends.
That's good.
And doing some stuff.
We did a lot of chilling today.
Still staying focused. But man, like it's hard in this world right now. It's scary. It's scary.
And we're white dudes.
We don't know. Like you don't know what the world's gonna look like in a week.
We don't have.
We're three mid-20s heterosexual white dudes, and we think it's hard.
Anywhere near the fear level that a lot of people that are discriminated
in a very wealthy side of America. But it's like at the end of the day, like your security comes from, I guess, like a sense of like my world would be relatively the same in a week. But like with this world, it feels like every week it's something like life changing.
Yeah.
Every week something
Climate
big
changing.
is coming out. Something,
And so if your mental health is not doing the best right now, don't beat yourself up, boo boo.
Yeah,
we love you.
Or it's like learning like
we're here with you too. This shit's stressful.
That one dude from
This hurts.
history class you liked is like kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Like Gandhi. Did you know Gandhi was shitty?
Well, yeah.
So is there like at what point will we reach a balance of like, okay, it's okay to have fun. There's still some problems in the world. I'm doing what I can about it.
I mean, I think in general, like it's just like anything. It shouldn't. Nobody, like, obviously there are some people that don't have the option or don't believe it's an option, and that's far and away they're right. Even though I imagine they, like any of us, we're human beings. We need to take a load off and just relax.
It's important that we all take like some time to breathe, because I feel like we're almost oversaturated with this stuff, but at the same time we have to be taking it seriously.
It's worth taking serious, but it's like where's the balance?
But you also have
where's
to,
our balance point?
Like find a way to approach it. There's plenty of angry people in the world right now. So
Yeah.
If y'all got any input,
and
I know.
Yeah, well, and I feel like people are just taking it out on
This shit's stressful.
randos at this point. It's like you just have angry people. Bree was saying someone at like the pool was just yelling at them for saying they were peeing in the pool or something. Like she sent me a whole clip
just a
of
wild
this, just
Karen.
Karen in the wild.
Show me the ink, the dye that I activated.
Does water look blue to you?
But until that, show me the warm spot directly in front of me that I did it in, or get out, or back off, man.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, I'm almost done.
So how you guys dealing with this weird time? How you?
What do you mean? I just
y'all
listen.
mentals. Where's your mentals at?
I just listen. I try to process, and it's emotionally exhausting, and that sometimes. But it's just you just try and take in as much as you can.
Always stay aware. Yeah, like just don't allow yourself to get lost.
But keep your eyes out for like injustice. I feel like because you have to like internalize this stuff and almost like I don't know.
And now more than ever, it is the time to call out people.
It's important to be. I
Like-
think we got to transition from a state of being reactionary beings, meaning that every time we wait to react to
We
things,
need-
where
we
we need
need
to
to,
be
yeah.
actionary.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
sense of living your life with purpose, in sense of like you have this driven. So like when something like that happens, you're already taking action on the right steps already preemptively to mitigate whatever those issues are.
Right.
Yeah, and I think just society's making kind of a shift.
Yeah. Because I think right now everyone is just kind of recognizing that thing, like as if that, I guess that wasn't if that wasn't already obvious, things aren't as great. Even if they're great for you, things aren't great for a majority of people, and that needs to be recognized, and we need to develop a sense of empathy, because again, like we're still going with the goddamn masks. That's still a problem. That's still a problem for you. Like to wear something to family fare,
Yeah.
or like Meyer. to like stop by like a grocery store for 15 minutes.
Yeah, you have every right to not wear a mask, but
Stay home.
Family Fair also has a right to say you can't come in here unless you
Exactly.
have a mask, because that's what all this science is currently pointing to.
Stop with the bullshit of like
Better
fucking
safe
with
than-
retail workers and
That's
all
above
these
their pay.
all these they don't deserve most of the BS that is thrown their way with a normal society. Much like, like Susan with her receipt that's from 2014. It's like, what do you mean I can't return it?
Can't return
she's a
this
heavy
paper
smoker.
towel.
It really shows how much of a bubble most people live in. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
actually have zero struggles in your life.
Oh yeah, it's like, which again, it's the response is simple. It's like, what if I can't wear a mask? Then stay home and get a designated grocery getter because that's the way.
You ever hear a shipped?
Yeah,
You
and
ever hear a shift? Put someone else in danger.
I feel like there's people like in their little groups.
Someone willing to wear a mask.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
There's people like in their little groups. It seems like they're helping the people that are like, I don't know, grandparents and stuff like that. Because I know,
Yeah.
I think Bree's grandparents had someone getting their stuff for them. Or
Well, that's
it
where
depends on, but you have to have those people around you too at the same time. But
that's what's scary.
Yeah.
Is like it's also exposing how many fallacies we've had in our system of like there's just a lot of people who don't have any type of support system, and like when shit like this goes down, they're the most at-risk people, and we need some type of infrastructure to help them.
But then your response is like, oh, well, I don't want to wear this thing to help the, in theory, person who could be affected the most. And again, and I think the reason why is because if the mask prevented you from getting it, then people would wear it.
I think
If
this
the fact that it's you protecting others when you wear it is entirely the reason why it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, it's also I think there's some point of like there are some people who think unless 100% of people are doing it, it works. But if one person's not doing it, then it's not working. So why am I doing it? And so like it's like they see one person and they're like they see that one person deflecting and they're like, oh fuck it, and then all of a sudden
I
it's
was
like
about to say, yeah, they're an asshole. Beat them up from a safe distance.
you know what? Just give me a little glare and stay away. Stay away, 12
I was
feet.
about to say,
Double that.
Get the fuck out of here.
Fuck away from them.
Hey, Dale, put a face. They'll offer it to you. They'll offer you a face mask.
yeah, I delivered to this place, and on the front it was like a hair salon place, and it was on the front it said you have to wear a mask to come in here. If you come in here without one, we'll give you one for $1 or something
Yeah.
like that. And it's just like, yeah, just
Yeah.
put that on your door.
That's
And then,
reasonable.
yeah.
Well, especially now that there's the incentive of like, listen, it's gonna be a $500 charge in theory if like you're caught not wearing one. Like,
Oh yeah,
you're
is that
supposed to.
is that what it is now with
It's
the
gonna-
Michigan thing?
Yeah, it's I don't know if like
Is that everybody out? I don't know. I want to read. I
I
want
was
to
about
see
to
what
say
this
I don't
is.
know if grocery store attendant number 2 can do that. Are the ones that
Yeah.
like you've been served.
Yeah.
But-
Also, to people, we're in Grand Rapids, Michigan, just for
We have
a
one of the big old
reference
hubs.
sake.
For doxing sakes.
Yeah. We're around
if you
Michigan.
if you want to know where we live, stop by the house. It's not very
Wan-
clean. But
Wander around Grand Rapids for a while. You'll probably see
Yeah,
one of us. But yeah, what was I? Whitmer's.
I think it's an. I think
There's
it was
also
an
like
executive.
there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
some people who are
Getting better.
they don't want their life to change. It's back to that integral thing of like
Oh,
how
yeah,
humans being
it's-
afraid to change, and it's like they feel like they're accepting that this is a new standard of life, but it's like it might just be, but like calm down, put a mask on, save your friends, or if you don't like a mask, stay home. I don't
Yeah.
like a mask. I stay home and I don't go anywhere. I really hate fucking masks. I don't want, but I'll wear one for like 5 minutes. I'm in my ear.
$500
Who
misdemeanor.
failed to comply with the order could face a $500 misdemeanor, and a business and businesses
Wow.
could risk having their license suspended
this
for
is-
not enforcing. Ooh,
This
okay.
is where
So okay.
What do you think about-
So wait. So the some people are saying this is too aggressive, but I think this is fairly
we
reasonable.
need to do something. Like, if anything, we like that. We need a bit of harshness in order to answer this problem.
But yeah, but at the same time, it's like I don't think anybody's. Okay,
I mean, people are
there's
dying. I
angry
feel like this
peop-
is harsh.
There's angry
I was
people
about to
out
say,
there.
if,
So actually,
if like, listen, if someone's like, no, I'm not going to wear a mask. these 9 times out of 10, someone's not going to be like that person who's saying like, I'm not going to wear a mask. They talk tough. So it's not like, oh, they're going to fight the guy
scared.
you just brought over. Yeah,
They're not wearing it out of fear.
Okay, you're not going to come in then.
Well, that's why I seen a really good point someone made on Facebook, but it was like one of the arguments of the side of like, we can't live in fear. You can't like, and you know, but it's like you are living in fear yourself with the sense of you are fearful of not returning to normal, quote unquote normal, and you're living in fear of like, I have to get back to normal. I have to get back to normal. That's fear. So like, you are living in the same thing you are saying to justify your cause.
It just seems like such an easy thing to me.
That's exactly it. And it's these people, like, just the sweet irony of the exact people who are like, I want to get back to normal, but if you wear the mask, you're one step closer to getting back to normal.
Yeah.
Do you realize every goddamn country handled this better than us?
So New Zealand apparently didn't have a single part of the outbreak. How did they handle it? I want to see.
I don't know if they didn't have a single.
But like, I just know about the one in North Korea that like, I just assume Kim Jong-un shot him himself. I'm just gonna go out on a limb, and it's like, here he is, sir. Here's
But it's not insane. One of the most dangerous dictators in the world faked his own death. And that was just like another part of 2020.
I have no idea what that was.
We just ignored it. We just ignored it.
It's because the people that are writing this shit are
Y'all are getting lazy.
Are just trying whatever. Oh, Kim Jong-un faked his death. Did we even need that storyline? It didn't add to anything. If anything, it just made us realize, okay, guys, maybe Kim Jong-un isn't that bad because his sister is even more dangerous. His sister's more like his dad, and his dad was bad.
That's where, like, it's kind of weird, though. Like, his dad was this fucked up person, and, like, he's kind of like
his son's
a
like
North Korean dictator playboy.
Yeah,
like, he's like a playboy.
Yeah, he's a big man, so he's rich. We're going back to like old.
He was grown up rich, so he doesn't like he had a comfy life. He's still not a good. I'm not saying no way. A good empathetical person, but like he's so distracted in the gluttony of life that he's not.
He doesn't seem to be evil, like in the traditional sense of.
He'd rather selfishly enjoy life than.
Wait, you guys are talking about Kim Jong-un?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know enough about this.
Well, no, because that like right around the time when it was like, oh, Kim Jong-un is dead, everyone's first reaction is yay, but then they're like, wait, hold on, his sister is next in line.
Isn't that the conundrum of Trump Pence? Like.
Yeah, well, let's impeach. Let's impeach him. There's some video online that they were like, yeah, let's impeach, and they're like, yeah, and then she was like, yeah, President Pence, and everybody's like, what the fuck?
Oh no!
It's like it clicked for him.
Actually, let the Senate decide.
So basically, what I'm seeing from New Zealand is they had effective communication, public compliance. And there's been 22 deaths total, I think, like through this whole thing.
Look at. I think it was Taiwan. Taiwan had like 7.
Yeah, dude. Taiwan and Japan too, aren't they like crazy low?
Of course,
also,
I was about to say, of course, like.
Well, Japan is consistently always wearing masks.
Is just always better than us.
Yeah, well they're
a very
Well, they're
a society. Like it's all like
they also shut down. They'll shut down borders.
But it's like just in their society. My friend went to
7 deaths.
451 confirmed cases.
But like,
did they just shut down their borders, or what is this?
I don't know.
All I know is they did better
because they're right the fuck next to China.
Yeah.
Why Taiwan was right on.
Got it right, and the U.S. didn't.
And the U.S. didn't.
You know,
also like Japan's like a heavily saturated or dense population.
But like you look at their sense of like respect to each other's in society is completely different because they'll have the sniffles and wear a mask when they have the sniffles because they're like, I don't want to get the people around me.
It's also
sick.
like my friend went to Japan and he says like it's just such an orderly society there where like they don't jaywalk, like they wait for the crosswalk, and they. Like, it's just a society thing. No one jaywalks.
And the most American thing to do is say, fuck you, I'm going to walk straight across this road. Listen, there's no traffic, so traffic laws don't apply.
Even if the crosswalk is 5 feet that way, it never fails. You will always see someone who jaywalks in favor of going to the 5 feet away crosswalk.
But it's hard to talk to...
It's like culturally...
Yeah,
it's
just
different. It's a different society, and just
In America, we're free.
And yeah, we're idiots. We really are.
No, we watched.
There are so many idiots.
We watched Eddie Griffin's Freedom of Speech, and it was.
Dude, you should watch that.
Did you see what year it came out? I wanna check. The
was-
year it came out, because this man was and he was bringing up Obama. So I'm thinking anywhere between 2012 2016.
2008.
Oh, 2008. When?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really recommend it. We watched it on YouTube.
This dude was speaking in 2008, and this man was bringing up points that are like, he could have came out with this yesterday, and it would have been just as pertinent.
It was very good.
But what were you gonna say?
It is on Prime, I think.
It's also on YouTube.
Oh, maybe not.
It's on YouTube.
It.
Not at our location. So use your VPN.
It's on
I was about
YouTube.
to say,
Eddie
yeah,
Griffin
take
Freedom of
advantage
Speech on YouTube.
VPNs.
Fucking incredible. Man's
The framing's not quite right, but it's just you gotta.
It'll
it's
do.
Very
Man's
worth
genius.
listening to.
funny
Yeah.
as hell. Like just, it's just like to me, it's a phenomenal example of how how important comedy is to society. Like he can bring things and ideas and topics that go over the everyman head, and he can give it to you in digestible and you're laughing as you learn. And it's like the truest form of like the greatest of the greats, like Richard Pryor, George Carlin. You know, like it's of that where he's teaching deep things.
So he's like really smart too. Like he's laying down some shit about the pyramids.
Fucking
and,
facts.
Yeah.
And like he talks about hermetic philosophy, like breaking it down, like he knows his shit.
Deep stuff. I'd recommend it for everybody. But yeah.
Really cool, really cool.
So are we going to talk about this Jada Will Smith stuff, or?
I mean,
What are we?
So what's
you called
we
her a
relationship
psychopath?
experts? We got 2 successful relationships so far in this room, and then I haven't been in a relationship since I was like 20.
All right, well, don't make it about you.
Let's talk about Kev's problem.
Yeah. Let's talk about why Kevin is a flawed bachelor.
All right, and so we have Kanye running for president.
Yeah. Cut.
All right,
Oh
Jada
no! Oh.
Cats stole our.
The kittens
Like,
disrupted
We just
the
had a
lights.
kitten pull down a light.
Hold up, technical difficulties. But this Jada Will Smith, like, it's annoying that we're talking about this when there's so many other important topics. But it's like, and again, like, I don't give a fuck about a celebrity's relationship. But it's like
It's juicy.
it's juicy.
something.
Well, like this is where I can bring. This is a useful time to bring up celebrities. Whenever we talk about celebrities and their role, yes, we gotta bring that they're just human. It's kind of annoying at times because it's like I don't care about these rich, wealthy people, but it's like it's also like they're great discussing points because at the end of the day they're human and they're living their life through this dissectable lens, and we kind of get to learn about human like mindsets and relationships, and like it's a human talking point. We can talk about human beings and their actions, and it's a great like everybody knows it. So it's almost like it's just fucked up that you can compare it, but like you can. So like in the Bible's made up of stories like of people living life, and you digest it, and you kind of like get a understanding of how life is supposed to be lived. Where it's nowadays like instead of the Bible, we use fucking celebrities and their gossip. You know what I mean? That's how we learn humanity in today's world, which says a lot about why we're fucking up in today's world. But it's also like this is what we have, so we'll talk about it. But Jada will. But basically,
See, I remember you. I think you shared something with me, and it was like when I was learning about like open relationship type of stuff, and it almost seemed like I don't know, they weren't in an open relationship, but they almost had like this understanding of like we're gonna be a team with our kids no matter what happens.
Oh,
it's like an
yeah.
interesting thing to just throw into an interview. but-
Which it seems to be that the August, I forget his last name,
Alsina?
was the one who started this by bringing up that, hey, I hooked up with Jada.
Yeah. I'd also like to point out I don't know much about.
Oh,
what's going
I know.
on. I've just heard things.
I haven't even
but-
watched. I've just seen the Will Smith. It looks like the crying Jordan meme, like the Will Smith very
Yeah.
like, just
Dude.
destroyed face
free to
meme.
pursuit of happiness, Will Smith.
Just pain send tweet. Like, but it's one of those things where again it was such a silly thing to do because it was such a silly thing to do for Jada to lie about it because it's like, Jada, you realize this is not going to be put to rest until it is confirmed. So just lie at your own risk. To which point they go on national, whatever it was, and it's like, I had an entanglement with him, and I know that's the big.
And then we see firsthand of the dangers of washing your dirty laundry in front of the people.
Yeah, and then
Be careful what you wash in front of people.
Ironically, I think they said bad marriage for life, and then they
I
toasted.
didn't see. I didn't know that was a meme or not. Like it looked very memey.
Because it was like I don't actually know if that was what they verbally said,
but like that was a sentiment.
It's like
that was a sentiment.
Yeah, it's like I know it's a reference to Bad Boys,
but I think it's also a thing of there's a lot to be learned here. I think you can dissect it in a lot of ways. Where you can put some of the blame to Will a little bit, some responsibilities, a lot of the Jada. Where it's easy to say, Jada, you fucked up this while, but at the end of the day, knowing from what I know a little bit, like it just seems like she never hid that side of herself from him. Where it was like she was heavily in love with Tupac, like all these things. Will Smith had his own thing. Will Smith was basically obsessed with her. Once he got free and available from his last relationship, he hit her up. She was available at the time, so she was like, yeah, fuck it. It was after Tupac's death, you know what I mean? So it's like it was almost like Will was her best option at the time, but so she was willing to like lead him on. But then the moment she got bored with him, it was like, you know what I mean?
But
she was never really into him. We're like, Will, you gotta see that she wasn't into you the way you were, so you gotta pull yourself back. At the end of the day, she would also let him on.
Sounds like juicy gossip.
Or like one of those things where it's like, I want to ask you something. It's like, I want to ask you something too. And it's like, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Do you want to be in an open relationship? Will you marry me? Do you also want to be in an open relationship? Oh my God, we said it at the same time.
Yeah.
That's what, like, it seems like Will Smith was on the other side, and then she was like, do you want to be in an open relationship? And he's like, sure.
Yeah.
But then
she's like, basically,
I think probably happens a lot with people.
You don't satisfy me, but we got kids, so you should kind of a good guy too.
Well,
so I'm gonna fuck these guys.
Will Smith, though, you gotta like as far as like men in the world, I feel like he's.
I don't know what she's thinking.
Very.
If this was
This is
recent,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
know how recent it was.
Yeah.
Stop playing the victim if you're the Will Smith type. We're saying like, I did everything for these hoes and they still keep shitting on me. Stop falling for hoes.
Well, she's
It's still
the mother
something
of
on
his
you.
2 kids, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't come at him with stop falling for these hoes.
Well, it's like that wasn't
For the
at Will
mother-
Smith. It was
for the
at the
mother.
people on Facebook saying
Oh,
like,
okay.
I'm
Yeah,
the Will Smith
I
type.
was
These
about
hoes
to
keep
say.
playing me.
We don't. Like at the end of the day, no one really knows the dynamics of the relationship.
No.
So it's like.
But it's good to like
It's
talk
it's
about.
just juicy gossip,
humanity.
really.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, it's probably a sense of reprieve from everything else.
yeah.
Oh yeah, because for once it's not like about someone
This is a
living or dying, someone being prejudiced against. It's just like, yo, Jada, did you hit August? He said he did.
Yeah.
She's like,
He's like, no. And then Will Smith's like, come on, baby.
Don't
How
tell
come
these
she don't want me no more, man?
It's also funny with like, I seen a meme where it's like, girl, I kept my hoes in check. They silent. Why is yours talking?
Oh yeah, it's like, well, listen, Jada, Will's been doing a terrific job. If he has his side hustles, it's like,
Yeah.
listen, we haven't heard a damn thing about Will's side hustles.
No.
Jada, you're messing
He makes
up.
him sign them non-disclosure agreements right off the
You're
bat.
letting August just say like, hey, August, what's new with you? Bro, I slept with Jada. I got this new tie.
Do we care about celebrity heartbreak? It comes down to should we care?
Should we? I mean, like,
Well,
you don't
yeah.
have. It depends. Like, you shouldn't just generally like. Is like, if Tom Hanks broke up with his wife, I'd be sad because it seems like I respect Tom Hanks and like that sort of thing. But if it's like just Joe Schmo, like a guy who's like an Instagram model breaks up with his Instagram model girlfriend, I don't care.
You guys were doomed from the start.
I was gonna say, because eventually,
It just hurts because
Someone would
Will
get
just
more
came out
likes.
with one of the best verses of 2020 and was like, "You found my queen," and like shouted out Jada like 13 times. I felt like it, and the whole time she was.
which I don't.
I don't
What
know.
did we say? We said no more slurping noises.
God damn it.
Now we have to put a disclaimer. Son of a bitch.
Warning.
Yeah,
Slurps in 3, 2,
Warning.
1.
Kevin's gonna act a fool and start making some slurping noises to imitate something. Entanglements.
So you guys think Kanye's gonna win presidency?
I don't know what Kanye is gonna do. Quite frankly, I don't care because every
It's
time he
entertaining.
opens his mouth, I hate him more.
I don't know if I hate him more, but I don't think he put much thought into this, or it's very serious.
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah,
it seems like he doesn't have like a solid plan. It just seemed like something he kind of tweeted one day.
It's like, listen, Kanye, you made 808s and Heartbreak a terrific album. You made several terrific albums, but I don't know what you're doing. You know you're not going to win. Not because you don't have the name recognition, but because people in general, voters in general, need to hear a name for about 9 months, at least, before they...
He's also the only non-pedophile that's running right now.
Yeah, but there's some mental stuff going on too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because you got Joe Jorgen von Strangle for the Libertarians, who is like...
I forget about that one. Never mind. She's probably not a pedophile. Maybe not.
Well, yeah, no, she's not a pedophile. She's
That
just
we
like,
know of.
oh, do you want to like give people health care? No. Do you want to ensure health equal pay?
I think
no.
I saw you post something
yeah,
like
yeah.
this, yeah.
Do you want to do anything? Not really.
Well, that's kind of the libertarian stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
like
she's
everybody
fitting that mindset.
and
everybody
that's why
you.
it's trouble, like, again, representing parties. Because you're never
Yeah.
running, like...
Oh yeah, and that's why it's like I
Your own
looked at her platform, and it's like, no, I don't like your policies.
This is where, like, I fully understand the libertarian idea.
It's an ideal. really.
Ideal,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ideally,
And
the
I
problem is
understand
it's
of, like,
filled with
let's leave
dude
people
roast
alone.
most
Because,
of
like,
the
again, I'm damn near, like...
If everybody's fully empowered and everything's equal,
My heart-
libertarianism.
My heart is going
All
towards,
right.
like,
But
anarchism, total.
people
It's
are
like,
flawed.
fuck all this. Let's run ourselves. But my brain's like, all right, Kevin, all right, calm down. We
Yeah.
need some
Easy.
sort of structure, some sort of infrastructure, to communicate with each
Yeah.
other and to
You
lay
know,
things out and take care of our
regulation.
people.
Well, yeah.
Where it's like, but it's like, I fully understand it, like, leave people alone. But it's like, I feel like in America we have this class problem where America's like, take care of yourself, right? You have the responsibility to take care of yourself. But to me, it's like, if we have the resources to house, feed, and medically take care of everyone in society, yet the only hiccup is money, what the fuck is money? What the fuck is this? It's not even real.
Okay.
So this is where I'll put him. I'll be the Kanye side.
Make sure you adjust your chair first.
People love to hate Kanye.
And it's easy. It's easy.
Yeah.
But it's just
Just let him talk.
a lot of it is now it's like when you read headlines and you read the article and you're reading two different things. Like they know what to put in their headlines because they know the general consensus is Kanye's a joke. And so they know what to say to get their likes and get their clicks. But when you read the actual thing, it's like now they're personally attacking this man and lying to him, where it's like, one, we got to set the basis here. Kanye should never be a reasonable candidate for presidency. But the fact that you can make a argument that not only saying he's the best candidate in this election, he may be the best candidate in any election ever, because we've had a consensus of presidents. But, like, it's not a stretch. The bar for presidents in America is so low.
Yeah.
We've had racist, pedophilics,
I mean.
and extremely classist type people that have been our presidents for so long that you can make an argument
I mean, Trump
that
was our
Kanye may be one of the
president.
best presidents of all time, strictly off of.
FDR was pretty good.
But, like,
John F. Kennedy was pretty good. I got two.
I hear you. But
I
it's
got
two.
I have two.
Two.
Two ones for sure.
But,
that
like,
are
the
better.
fact that you can make, like, he's still
Yes, I
top
have to
five.
pick- I have to pick decades apart. But
And it's like
yeah.
that
Well,
bar is so low where it's like people that I think the problem is not that Kanye is running for president. The problem is that Kanye is running for president and he's theoretically a threat to somebody's campaign.
Well, he maybe could have been if he started maybe a year ago.
And I don't think he's actually
then-
running. I think
and,
it's all
well, like,
publicity. But at the
see,
end of the day,
yeah.
you can make an argument where he might be the most morally right president we've had
But the problem is, you can tell
and willing
just-
to speak.
he is very impulsive, and he'll just talk. Like, you ever see the clip of
Trump.
him saying so? Yes. No wonder they were at least once friends.
Yeah.
Well, he knows what he's saying in his mind, and he does it. And I think there's one thing of saying, like, I don't care what people think, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. But then there's also responsibility of when you say something that can fuel somebody of like Dave Chappelle, I think, brought this up when he's talking about Oprah, where it's like some of his old content he kind of regrets because even though it was right and correct, he gave fuel and energy to an opposing side of sense. Or it's like when I'll try to give you an example of when Kanye says Trump inspired him to run for president. It wasn't that he was inspired by Trump's policies, ideals, and this. He was inspired by the fact that a man outside of politics can get in.
Which I think the world's kind of big on. But the world
was like, oh, you're inspired by Trump, then you want to be the next Trump. You know, where Kanye in his mind was like, no, he was able to do something that I'm in the same boat. But it's like, that's where you got to understand your words. So now everybody in MAGA is thinking you're this huge pro-Trump guy. And I think he saw Trump as somebody he can communicate with and talk with, and he wasn't this politician that was just this fake bust. You know, he thought Trump was an actual real human being that he could talk to, and he got a black woman freed from jail. He talked like that's where
he did good stuff.
I will talk about this point.
Good stuff.
When he put on his MAGA hat and he sold his soul to get a seat at the desk of the president, that whole interview, he was talking about his hometown, Chicago. He was talking about prison reform, and he got a black woman freed from jail. I remember seeing Jay-Z and Obama friends for like all 8 years. What did they talk about?
What did Jay-Z do?
What did Jay-Z talk about? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I really don't think.
And we never hated Jay-Z for none of it, but like we giving Kanye all this shit when he talked about his hometown Chicago. He talked about prison reform.
Jay-Z did cheat on Beyonce, so we can't really count on Jay-Z for too much. We can't really count on his judgment.
That's fair.
Poor Beyonce.
But it's like no one hated him, for not saying anything. Like, it was, everyone gave him love for saying about it, and it was Obama, but it's like, at the end of the day, this is where we get hiccup. We want these appearance of right and just, but like, at the end of the day, it's actions.
Yeah.
And even because I wanted to I read the things that Kanye said, and he sounds more religion heavy than GOP, which is terrifying.
I don't think Kanye and Trump are really too far off from each other.
I don't think they are.
But they're both willing to like say what kind of, because really I think people love to hate Kanye. So Kanye says he's running for president. He's gonna get a lot of publicity, and he's coming out with a new album. That's kind of the angle that I think he's really going for.
At the end
but
of the
it's also
day,
like if you listen to the substance of like,
but I mean
Kanye's a goofy man.
You know,
he's a goofy man, but at the same time he's smart. He's extremely intelligent.
I mean, he's got shit to say in the world.
He's got a great way of thinking and describing life.
The media loves to take something
and like
he says
you got to
and
think
frame
about
it,
yes, and like he gets just on that last article, one of the headlines was like he claims he had COVID in February, but this man had a positive. In the article it says he had a positive test. So why in the headline is it framed as claims, where in the article it says he had a positive test? And one, you're trying to straight up
because they
come at this man.
You do have to say that because like he's not giving proof in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
You could just say I
think he had a positive test.
Oh no!
But it's just like when you
saying
say claims, like when you say the way that all these like
sure,
things get brought up,
they're
it's like
delegitimizing what he's saying.
Yeah.
And then like they'll say something like he's anti-vaccine, he's pro-life, but it's like when he says he's skeptical of vaccines, because a lot of the black community is skeptical of vaccines, and for good reason, and it's not something he made up. And then when they talk about him being pro-lifer, I mean a lot of that isn't in his. But he was skeptical of Planned Parenthood, and people are like, yes, Planned Parenthood does great things but it's also like you have an idea of Planned Parenthood, he has another one from the black community, and the Planned Parenthood was started by these white supremacists who in the early days, it's completely gone, it's different, but like they practice eugenics, and so where it's different, but like he's seeing that, and his number one priority is his black people. I think in his mind, that's where he wants to put them, and he wants to do his best for them, and he sees this side of people who are saying, doing the right things, but doing nothing for his people.
Sure.
And so he wants actual real change. So he's trying to speak out, but it's like, and it's also like we talk a lot about like, don't tell a black man how to deal with his trauma. Then why are we telling Kanye how to deal with his trauma of being a black man in America when he's trying to be different than the rest of the black men?
I would say. I mean, because I know right now a lot of people are having like the same kind of discussions on where Kanye is mentally, because there are some whatevers about that. Like, because again, like he's behaving in a different way than he has in the past, and it's like something where like some people are like, oh, is he have this disorder or something like that?
I think bipolar is what.
It's also like it gets really scary too when we start like we see someone talking different, like talking outside of the societal norms, and we immediately start labeling them with mental health issues. Like we did this with Dave Chappelle. Like he was moving outside of societal norms, saying no to $50 million, saying no to a show, and they immediately called him a crackhead, like mental health issues, all these things.
Did they
like,
really?
Yes.
I didn't know about
right
this.
off the jump. Like they were
Yeah.
coming at him saying he went to Africa to do crack and shit, like cocaine. Like what the fuck you going to Africa
thought
to
he
do
went
crack?
there.
I just
cocaine?
remember
Like,
he went
lives
to
in hell.
Africa.
For
I don't remember the
humanity.
crack
He
angle.
Yeah.
He went to Africa, and like headlines were saying like he went to Africa because he was in this drug ring, like just
Oh,
going
no
through
idea.
like a crazy spiral, and he's like, what the
Yeah.
fuck would I go to Africa?
Oh, sure. And I'm, again, like,
So
I'm...
like, the minute it's like a black man or like even a man starts speaking thoughts from his own head, like the immediate attack is your mental health.
Yeah, and I talk more
And that's
from...
dangerous.
Because I wanted to, like, listen, if Kanye had a, like... Because I think you had posted, like, oh, judge the man on his platform. So I looked at his platform.
Yeah.
And he doesn't
doesn't have
a
one. Like,
platform.
But, like,
Exactly.
So it's like,
I did the same thing. I
then you
was
look
like
at other
trying to
people's
dive in,
platform,
but
it is like their platform is just highlighting issues, and it'll say, I'm gonna fix them, and you go, how? I'm gonna fix them.
I'll take that over every day is going to be your birthday
Yeah, but it's like,
because we are the birthday party.
and then he says like there was something encouraging in it too, is like they're asking, what do you know about, like, what's your tax policy? And he's like, I don't really know anything about taxes. And it's like, at this
I'm
point,
gonna read
I
up
would,
about it.
I'm-
Bro.
I would rather have that. I would rather have that than a politician who knows actually
To-
nothing
to
and
your-
says they do.
To your point, like I'd rather have someone that's actually going to listen to the people around him.
And that's why, like,
which
at the end of the
some
day,
people
a
don't,
politician
but-
is a decision maker.
But,
and in
yeah.
order to make the right decisions, I want you to have a background in ethics, love, and like have some connection to a spirituality of God, some whatever form.
Yeah.
I don't
But
need to be
he's, like,
religious based. And like, yes, he is
Yeah.
heavily religious, almost, and
But
it's
he's-
cultish and it's scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outside of the
He's scary with how he's like, no, religion's gonna be my guiding light. And it's like, it can't be.
Yeah.
This is the worst
and
possible
state.
position to
I don't
be.
like the tone he's coming from.
I make my choices through God, and God is telling me to blow up that place. Or like things like that because they're full of non-believers.
And this is where it always gets. It's like that's where religion gets dangerous, like
Yeah.
because those ideas become things that are above and beyond criticism, and that's when like, whoever controls that word controls the populace. Because like once an ideal and a belief system becomes like above beyond criticism, then you have to take it for what it is. So then that massive crowd of people that believe it are now controlled at the whim of whoever controls that word. And then we've seen that time and time again, like throughout society, of like we got to stop having. The problem is not within our leaders. The problem is within our followers.
Sure.
Our leaders would have no power if our followers weren't such sheep.
Because I understand, because a lot of people I've seen, again, posts very similarly worded things about how, like, you shouldn't be threatened by Kanye unless you're implying that you don't have a strong, like, group. You don't have a strong thing. To which it's like, yes, no shit. Like, what do you think, like, all the people who are, like, almost begrudgingly Democrats, begrudgingly gonna vote left, why do you think they're also, like, you don't think we know this? You don't think, like, we're already furious at the DNC for rigging it so Biden gets it for sure. And then it's like, the last thing I want to fucking do is campaign for Biden.
Then why are we?
Because if there's anyone who would actually, in terms of the candidates, because again, Kanye isn't going to win.
Kanye's not even gonna run.
So,
No.
therefore, you're going between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Joe Biden
I see zero difference.
Is the likeliest.
I see zero difference. I almost see more. I see more
Did you
danger in
guys-
Biden. I
Did you
really
guys
do.
hear, like, I guess Biden is kind of taking heavily influence from Bernie or something, like
Yes.
he's adopting a lot of his policies.
Yeah,
What do you guys think of that?
I think Biden is malleable. I think we have a much better chance of getting shit out of him, good shit, versus Donald Trump, who doesn't have a thought in his body and allows him to be ironically influenced by his own propaganda.
This is also like
yeah.
this is where my
Yeah.
I'm completely throw out those people. I'm not voting for them. I'm not supporting them. I'm not talking about them. And my only concern is the people. And my concern is with the people is when Trump is president, the people are active. They're actively working in their best interest and against him. That gives me inspiration and hope. Not because of Trump, but because of the people. When other people are in presidency, we are silent and we are cooperative and we're quiet. Meanwhile, black men are still being hung from trees. Immigrants are still in cages. Wars are bombed. Brown children in other countries are still being bombed.
That's not going to help, though, if Donald Trump just gets reelected.
But it's like, if he gets reelected,
if we're still
we
angry
keep-
on Facebook, that doesn't matter.
and that's where like we need the problem is not our leaders. Fuck the leaders. I hate when I see on Facebook this. We need leadership. We need this. Fuck that. Like, your personal responsibility is on you.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
I can't
but-
stop what happens in Kentucky.
I know
though.
you can't. So it's like but like also going into the system is enabling the rest of that. So it's like, I don't know. There's got to be this balance of like, man, fuck these people though, for real though. Like, I'm not gonna say Biden is any type of way better. I'm just not gonna. I feel like I'm selling my soul when we're talking about we're voting for one devil over the other.
They're both like part of the system. You know.
Yes, and so the system is a problem. So
think
it's like I'm not gonna sit here.
We'd much rather have someone
argue about
outside of the
most.
system.
There
that I
was,
feel like
there was something I saw earlier that made me. It was in regards to Biden. Said like it was Angela Davis, who I'm unsure of who that is, but she said to vote for Joe Biden. It said, but if we want to continue this work, we certainly need a person in office who will be more amenable to our mass pressure. And to me, that is the only thing that someone like a Joe Biden represents. But we have to persuade people to go out and vote to guarantee that the current occupant of the White House is forever ousted.
Yeah.
With Donald Trump, we get nothing.
We're
get nothing.
We're
and
definitely going for the
and we
lesser
only
evil.
get human rights violations or attempted ones. Some successful.
I see no change. Like I see change in terms of like what's purported or what's seen, but like in my day-to-day life, there is no real change other than the populace is active.
In terms of now,
Like people are
well,
like
that's a very.
there was still police
You
brutality.
do have to
there was still-
recognize
you know what I mean? Like
the
there's still all of
difference
it.
between you and someone else who like.
Oh, I know,
Well,
but like
no,
I
but
still
you have
see
to-
everybody, and I work in an industry where I see a huge demographic.
Yes, I'm saying you do
I'm
have
exposed to a
you
huge
do have to
demographic.
acknowledge that's
That not
a
everybody's
little,
me
that
and
is
myself.
different.
I know, I do.
Like there's a reason why someone like Donald Trump, the night he won, a lot of people broke down and like didn't recover for a week.
Well, guess what, honey? You were still oppressed before then. You weren't crying then.
This is worse, much worse. You cannot tell me
I can
that
honestly
us
tell you
actively
it's very safe. It's
that
very
us
safe.
actively
We're just not complicit.
cutting out natural rights that again were signed into office during the early 2010s. You can't say that them being cut out for no reason other than Obama wrote them.
Yes.
You cannot say that it's better.
First
or
off, Obama
equal.
didn't write my rights. My creator did.
But you understand what I'm saying.
I hear you, but I'm saying this is what I'm saying is you are caught in a hamster wheel. Fucking push over the hamster wheel, and that's what I'm saying. Like
A lot of these people don't even have a hamster wheel.
because it was like we're going nowhere of what side you were on, and it's like I just needed like
revolutionary.
it's just I can't.
It's like we can't
Yeah.
shoot the leader every single time. We
I-
can't do it.
I will not say I just won't do it. Biden still represents a class of people who hunted and actively ran a system that hunted, targeted, and disenfranchised millions of people. And I can't say I will not in any way, shape, or form say he is any type of answer.
Well, he's not.
I won't do it.
That's the
I
problem.
won't do it.
That's the
Definitely
problem.
not
He's
I won't. Oh yeah.
he's the best case scenario. He's something like some nice paste you can
It's
stick
kinda-
into the developing over the course of several years crack in society.
Mm-hmm.
He's a kind of paste that will stop some of it, but by no means all of it.
He's like a placeholder at this point.
Yeah, he is
but
absolutely a placeholder because
He's asleep half the time.
a lot of these people messed around. But I think the fact that he went from no health care to like, all right, yeah,
So-
I'd be open to I'd be open to free health care.
What do you think would be not these are both just hypothetical situations because they're equally. But what if what would be more changing if 100% of U.S. people voted or if 0% of people voted?
100%.
If 100% of people voted,
If
there would be more change.
If 100% people voted and we got whatever result, that was
Well,
the result.
it's either A or B because no one else is.
100%.
So that would be better if 100%.
Yeah.
I would argue 0% would be better because then it's just like the people are really fucking fed up with us. You know what I mean? Like if we all actively.
Oh,
Like,
there
what
are
if-
so many people who are on autopilot in their lives, so
Yeah.
there's not a chance.
Well, there's not a
that-
chance, but
Yeah.
100% is equally almost improbable, probably more improbable.
Yeah, but I think right now, like you're talking about, people are fired up. So you're
Yes.
getting people who, fuck, at this rate, technically it may be 100% because
Yeah.
with all the places they're shutting down to attempt to suppress voters.
Yeah.
So if anything, we may have met 100%, because, but I don't know. It's something where.
What do you think about mail-in ballots?
Mail-in ballots? I love the idea, especially right now when it's dangerous to
This
be
is
around
where
people.
I almost think, like, government could be ran with, like, basically, like, you see social media, like, Facebook is almost becoming, like, the fourth branch of government, where it almost feels like government could almost entirely be ran through an app.
Well, it's just kind of media has boomed, and it's like,
You know what I mean? Where, like, what if it was like, hey, we have your community, like, and you would be more active in vocal, like, so you, when you're born, you were given your profile, like, basically a social security number, right? That's your profile, and people
the
would say,
chip in your arm.
but like we'll have a government social media. Every voter has their profile, and then it's like, what if they hey, this law is coming into effect. We're gonna vote on this in 2 weeks. Here's all the information of what's either side. You could get onto it, and then when the vote came, you just click a button.
But who's putting the information forward for us to?
Well,
pick
and
the
that's where
vote?
it's, you have your government entity.
I think that's why they're doing mail-in ballots, a physical thing versus
But
electronic.
dude, see, it's hard to trust the postal service with my vote.
Oh well, sure.
That's my only iffy thing
but
about
I mean,
it.
the fact is that, like, because they've obviously.
I'd rather go to a place, maybe shove it through a thing.
But that's what's funny. It's like people always cry
fill
like
out a
there's
thing.
it allows voter suppression or voter corruption. We're already getting that in droves with the current system.
No, that's exactly it. So there's a reason why Donald Trump is talking about voter fraud when it's actually for mail-in ballots, when it's actually percentage-wise the least corrupted aspect of voting method.
Yeah.
Because
Mail-in
in person voting has had far more corruption than mail-in voting.
Yeah. Well, it's also a lot
just
longer.
because he knows a lot of younger people will do mail-in votes.
Yeah.
So he's very threatened by it. That's why he's trying to delegitimize the system.
And like a lot of the places, the heavy populated urban areas that are heavily left, they're cutting their ballots and their polling positions and stuff. So it's making it harder and harder. So like mail-in ballots extremely easy for them now, where it's like a lot of your voters in these small towns, small communities that have no problem getting to a voting station.
Yeah.
So I see it. But I remember, like, in 2016, there was in Pennsylvania, there was this. If you were putting Republican on your ballot, it was switching over to like entirely Democrat, and it's like, so there's been voter like weird shit on both sides.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing? Like, it just feels like there's just no hope. There's no hope.
That's
I've
why
been getting this feeling a lot.
Like every time you think of a way that people are trying to improve it, and then just like someone found the loophole. Well,
that's
someone how to fuck it up.
That's
someone
life.
found how to
That's
abuse
life
it.
in general.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, this is what we're talking about when like you're diving into the news all the time, and it's just emotionally exhausting because it's like, what do you do, man?
that's why you need to like.
And that's why you're like, we need to just start over. But I don't think that's an option.
I think the option here is, if we want to play, it's either, there's two options here. Full-on revolution, where you overthrow your oppressor, but then you just put in another system that basically probably does the same, more or less. Like, it's straight up Animal Farm. You know what I mean? Like, you overthrow the farmer just to have the pigs become the farmer.
Like, say you do start a new society, that society, the people within that circle, it's literally just chaos.
Or there's...
Unless they put in order, and they obviously...
Yes.
If you were a fan of order, you might have tried to do it through certain channels this way, even though they might not work. But
so the first option is revolution. The other option, to me, it's a lot longer, but I think it's a permanent solution, is we can self-educate ourselves out of this predicament. So, like, we can change the way we teach ourselves, where we, in the future, when that becomes, like, the general consensus and the general, what's the consciousness? Where, like, our general consciousness is on the same wavelength of this self-education route, where all of these, because a lot of these hate and injustice stems from ignorance.
Sure.
So we educate ourselves out of that, and eventually we have enough of these self-educated, empowered individuals where the system atrophies itself, where the system is no longer good enough for these people, and we are able to grow into it and evolve into a better system. So it's like, that's got to be our mindset of, we can educate ourselves out of these diseases, these mental diseases.
Yeah. No, and it's, as is very clear, there's a cultural issue just in terms of how people deal with anything. The fact that it doesn't matter if every single country is correct, or like handled this virus in a different way. So it's like, so the question, the great mystery, why are we so atrocious at it when in theory we should have been even more prepared? And it's because of a culture culture where the second we're being told what to do, we hear like, something hit our house on the outside, we assume we're being shot at, so then we grab our gun and we get ready. It's just this reactionary thing where it's like everything is you trying to take away my rights. And ironically, it's the most goddamn privileged people that react that way.
Hypocrites are always the first to call the victim card, and I think it's someone, I forgot, it was a reading I did a couple weeks ago, but I forgot who it came from, but it was basically, the point of it is in America we have this victimhood mentality of and it's played on every side, like the cancer is we believe ourselves to be the oppressed, and whereas a lot of us participate in a system that oppresses other people. You know what I mean? So like in this catch-22, we are the oppressors without even knowing it through our ignorance and compliance. So it's like we got to get out of this victim mentality of these people are taking my rights, and we got to get this. That's why I think it comes to this education. It's a cultural movement. We have to change our culture. We can educate ourselves out of these problems, all these issues. A lot of these issues, like a lot of these people think they're a victimhood, and because straight up like they just don't know any better, and like the solution to all these problems. But it's like that's the long con, and it's going to be generations. And
you hope that the moment that you are clearly the victim of wrongdoing of some kind, that you hope that the system is structured as it should be structured in a way that automatically makes it so everything solves itself. Like justice is a point, like put in the right direction, but obviously it isn't. And right now it's actually the ones who nowadays it'd be like the ones who report the crime are actually the ones in prison. Just like the one dude who filmed, I think it was Eric Gardner's murder, when the cops had him on the chokehold. He went to prison. For filming that, and just got out.
Well, who was a whistleblower that had to flee the country? That's not. He's been a joke in a couple. Snowden. What was his whole thing about?
He
exposed the fact that the government could basically peek in on everyone.
He worked for
the CIA.
He worked for the CIA and essentially info dumped CIA. Sensitive CIA.
This is like the whole problem of let's say he's the good cop, right? It goes as the good cop.
I think is what you're maybe thinking. It may have been a different group, but I remember that was it was WikiLeaks and all these.
No, WikiLeaks was the Julian Assange.
I remember, Julian Assange and all.
There's a couple of them whistleblowers that have been attacked.
That was Snowden was the big one because he worked at the CIA.
But we live in a society, and it's like a societal trend of when you do the right thing, you're hated for it.
Yes. Well, he exposed a giant thing in the government, and even I think Obama was just oh, we're not looking unless we need to. But it's but you have the option to invade any of us at any point.
Which I think, that's why he was well,
duh.
Maybe Obama's let's focus on other things. It's all right, well, the information's out there. Is it really better if now that he's in a foreign country, which technically we don't have. Oh no!
Oh boy, here we go again.
The kittens are taking down the lights.
She's stuck. Well, that's hour 15. Hour 15.
Twice in the last hour.
Give me
hour 15.
One. How about this?
What? Yes. Yeah.
This is what YouTube's all about.
For listeners, there are two very small kittens that were attempting to pull down the lights that we have set up. And so now they are resting on Kevin and Andrew.
Oh, one just took a dumble.
Yep. You got anything to say?
Yeah. There are only so many perspectives.
I woke up in the middle of the night last night. My foot was hanging off the couch, and all of a sudden it was getting attacked.
That's what I expect demons to do when I'm sleeping.
Turns out it's just a cat under your bed.
Yeah, it turns out it's just the cat that you didn't know you have.
All right.
Well,
closing statements. You guys got?
I guess I'd say again, just remember, keep yourself informed, but allow yourself some moments of
be kind
light.
and gentle yourself.
Yeah, because you need it. You're everyone's human.
We're all stressing out.
Allow yourself a moment of pleasure, and something nice.
Do something for yourself, boo boo.
Meditation would be a very good practice to pick up right about now.
Because this is an exhausting time, and unfortunately we're far from over.
It's good to think about these things, and it's good to, like, no matter how much, like, emotional shit you go through, it's always positive, but your brain, you need to give your brain a small break sometimes, because the way to think of the best solutions is from, I don't know, like a less emotional state, I think.
Do you think the general consciousness is now accepting the fact that we're never going back to normal? Because I think there was a whole struggle throughout this whole quarantine of like, I can't wait to get back to normal. And now it's like, shit will never be normal.
They said the new normal a while ago, and I think the new normal is kind of getting more new.
And I think
as time goes on,
and like we're just in the beginning.
This was something that one of my relatives and I were discussing, and it was after 9/11. I think a lot of people were thinking about how do we get back to normal, and the fact of the matter is they never did. Mm-hmm. Airports instead adapted and created new systems like the TSA, and it became something where that was the new normal. So I think, in theory, that stopped more hypothetical issues, like big problems like that, like events like that. So in my mind, I'm like, let's learn from this. Let's not go back to normal
ever,
because the last fucking thing we need is to be caught like this again when we lose so many people senselessly when we could have learned from it. Don't let history repeat itself.
Yes.
We're definitely beyond. I think you're right. We are definitely beyond any sort of going back to any sort of idea of what used to be normal. Mm-hmm. We went through like a societal and a cultural shift.
Don't beat yourself up for feeling lost in this time.
Big time. Mental health is going to be a priority.
Take care of your
during
mentals,
this.
boo-boo.
Absolutely.
As a wise man once said, take care of your mentals, take care of your chicken. Take care of what else? Something.
Chicken?
Take care of your chickens.
Jesus Christ.
Take care of your bodies.
Take care of your kittens.
Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening. This is Kevin McCasland.
Andrew Vanderhelm.
Kevin Graham.
Thank you for listening to the Basement Blokes.
I'm at Kevin31G on Twitter.
McKevin95 on Twitter.
Andy Vandy 7. Or we're gonna start setting up our Twitter.
We have a Twitter now.
We do have a Twitter. I have not done anything with it. All I've done is make it.
It's not interesting. It'll just weigh down your ratio. But wait. maybe someday, I
uploaded a picture today.
Yeah. And so in the near future, we will be cool. I swear.
At Blokes Pod, the YouTube.
I will never.
Facebook Blokes. But yeah, I can get us all access to this Twitter.
Beautiful.
We'll figure it out.
I love you, babies.
Thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and love ya.
Peace out.
Toodles.